Welcome back. I've got a special book in my hand, and this one is called Get Ahead. It's a book authored by Chris Omijiade. He's a business and personal development consultant, and his work intersects public speaking, innovative consultancy, coaching, mentorship, and all of that. And Get Ahead is a book that provides practical steps to facing life's realities and embracing success. And what I just read to you, it doesn't do justice to this book because I think it's an amazing book. And thank you so much, Chris, for joining us this morning.
Thanks for having me.
Good to have you join us. We're talking about a few things just behind the camera just now, and one of the things that you said was that reading improves you as a person, which is really, really important. And talking to our viewers now, it's like, look, we talk about books on the show every single week. But we want people to actually read books. So what do you think about that?
I think that's just powerful in its own way because several people around the world, there's this notion clearly that, we hear things like Nigerians don't read and stuff. But what I do believe strongly, from my own personal life and from personal experience, is that reading enhances you. There's a Stanford University research, I think that was done a couple of years ago, and there was an MRI done of the human brain of someone who's a reader and someone who's not readed. And you can see the brain literally come alive. It's like Christmas, so reading definitely goes far beyond what a lot of people think. It's not just flipping through a couple of pages and all. Reading definitely gets you ahead.
Amazing. When I walked in this morning and I had this book in my hand, everybody was saying, you walked in with a Bible. They were like, are you a pastor? Because the book is big.
Yes, it is.
And, when I started reading it, something we talked about earlier on, it's over 300 pages long, about 360 pages. Yeah. And I remember that when I read a John Maxwell book, and John Maxwell, you said, is your mentor, some years back, he said, from the moment I opened the book, he said, don't read this book in a hurry. Is that also what you're trying to achieve with this Bible?
Most definitely. Yeah. Like you rightfully said, John is my mentor, amazing guy. The most important thing that I've realized is that a lot of us, I'm also guilty of it, we buy a book, breeze through it, in 2-3 days you're done, you dump it, and that's it.
And then you look for the
next book. And then you look for the next book. And it goes on, it's a cycle. But when you go and you track back, you find out that you can actually more or less remember a lot that you read. What I try to do with Get Ahead was to actually have a daily companion and have something that chronicles life from the beginning to the end.
Right.
So whatever phase you find yourself, whatever station that you're going to be, it's something that you can always go back and refer to a chapter and say, okay, you know what? I'm at this stage of my life. I'm going through this certain area. Why don't I go back and see what Chris had to say and get ahead? So, like you said, it looks like a Bible. Shouldn't scare anybody. The Bible is a good book. I can assure you.
It's amazing. I like the way it's structured. Even the content, the way you did the content. Reading through the content is like reading through a library.
Yeah.
You're seeing everything. And everything in the content, mind you, is like a book on its own. Yes. The chapters, they're long, they're in-depth. Now, the first chapter, you talked about your encounter with John Maxwell when you brought him to Nigeria some 10 years ago. So talk to us about that and what he said about success.
Well, John is an amazing gentleman. He's one of the global leaders when it comes to leadership. And I think it was about a decade ago, I was a young lawyer and consultant starting off. And my former partner and I decided to put up a show. So we said, you know what, which international figure can we get that would best represent what we're trying to pass across? And John topped the list. So we got across to John. I'm sure he probably thought to himself,
who are these guys?
Who are these young boys?
Because it couldn't have been easy.
It could not, definitely
how
wasn't
can
easy.
somebody bring John Maxwell?
Definitely wasn't easy. It cost a king's ransom, looking back at it, but it was worth it. And having John spend a couple of days with us was amazing. We still have an amazing relationship till today. But what he said really is that, and I think that kind of set the tone for the book, was defining success on your own terms. And clearly that's what a lot of people fail to realize. Unless you're able to define it on your own terms, you would always struggle with it. So I found out that a lot of individuals tend to define success based on the parameters set by others. And those yardsticks, you probably might never get to meet them. So clearly, what I've learned from John and all of the major actors in shaping my own personal development journey is clearly define success by your own terms. It could be having a beautiful house somewhere. It could be an amazing family. It could be owning a private jet. It could be whatever it is.
So by your own terms.
By your own terms.
I like the chapter where you talked about seizing the day. Carpe diem is like saying like, look, today is your day. Seize it, take it, and do all you can with it.
Yes. Well, I mean, it's a breakfast show, so it's always amazing. So I guess most of the most of the viewers definitely are trying to start off the day.
Yeah.
It is very important every single day you wake up that you're conscious of yourself and the ability to ensure that you own that day. I mean, time is the one thing that you're never going to get back. So there's never going to be another 20th or 19th of February 2020 ever again. So every single day you wake up, it's an opportunity for you to make the most of the day. They're very successful in our midst. They're very successful who have gone ahead in different facets of life are those who have learned that principle of seizing each day.
I like what you also said. There's something that you said which some people might agree or disagree with. When you said that everybody has $1 billion lottery. So it's like you're born into the world, you have $1 billion.
Yes.
And you can do anything that you want with it. But
sure
some
get-
people would disagree because they'll say, oh, I was born in Nigeria. Where's my own $1 billion? You know, because even on Twitter, on social media nowadays, people complain, they say, why was I born in this country? Why did I find myself in Nigeria? Why am I not an American or in the UK? What would you say to people like that?
Well, I would subscribe to a lot of the notions that they carry because it's a very challenging society. In fact, what I usually would say, Nigeria should be taken in doses, like medication. You should take Nigeria in doses. But clearly, there is a reason and a purpose for everywhere you find yourself. So as much as what I tried to explain in that chapter is making you realize that being born in itself is you winning a lottery. I can guarantee you that. I don't need to break down biologically, but being born itself, you won a lottery. And you would find out that so many people, regardless of where they were born, regardless of the circumstances, regardless of the families they were born into, you've had people rise, even in Nigeria, right from bottom all the way to the top. So I want to just say that as much as the environment plays a major role in shaping you, I think to a large extent, it's a challenge that is thrown at you because those that usually come out from this end usually go on to be global leaders.
That's amazing. Thank you so much, Chris, for writing this book. He could have written 5 books from this and sold them one after the other and staggered them over a 5-year period. But decided to put everything in one book, and it's really, really good, really amazing. Get Ahead, practical steps to face life's realities and embrace success. I feel like I won a lottery getting this book. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me again.
Hopefully we're looking out for the progress that you're making.
Most
How do I
definitely.
find you on social media?
It's at Chris Omojade. That's ChrisOmojiade. It's Chris Omojade.
Yeah, send him a DM, ask him questions, ask him to mentor you as well.
I like that.
Maybe he'll agree. All right, well,